Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life.
Hi designers, today I want to talk about having some self-awareness around who we are, because I do think this is a big part of the creative process. So hear me out on this one. I actually think I'm going to ask you to be a little interactive, which is crazy because we're here on YouTube and we're on the podcast. So you might be like, how's this interactive? So you have to be the action taker at home, and I'm going to challenge you to get out some paper and do this with me like you were in one of my classroom settings, okay? It's so funny because I think some of these things that I talk about are absolutely design and creative related, but it's kind of hard to see it until you start realizing that it's really all about how we change our mind, so our mind changes our actions, okay? I think this is a big deal. How we change our mind also actually changes our actions. So when I'm talking about keen sense of self, okay, knowing yourself, not what other people think of you, okay? I'm talking about knowing yourself, okay? The first thing that comes up for me is, ironically, negative stuff, because negative stuff actually helps us understand ourselves a little bit better because they're the easiest things to notice. So what I'm talking about right now is the first thing I want you to write a list of is things you do not like. Okay, this is actually the easiest list to come up with. I did an exercise where we were trying to figure out company values. And in that exercise, we actually came up with the things we didn't want in our team members. And that actually is much easier to come up with things than the things that you want in your team members. So this is the same concept. We're going to choose to do things that we do not like. Okay, because if we choose those things first, because those are easy to find, like the things that we personally do not like, okay? One of the things I do not like, okay, just for you guys to know about me, is tardiness. Like, I don't like being late to things. It freaks me out. I don't know. I just don't like it, okay? My husband is late to everything, okay? Like, we kind of it's a rough thing. He's kind of come around. I tend to be will be okay with being 5 minutes late, and he will come all the way up to that. I mean, we went from being 30 minutes late to being 5 minutes late. So I'm not saying I'm not late to certain things or, some things now, but it really stresses me out. Okay. That's something I do not like. Okay. So write a list of things you do not like, because that's the easiest first thing to kind of as you're situating and thinking about yourself, just awareness of yourself, what you do not like. Okay, then the second thing is the like list. Very often, very different than the do not like list, okay? So I do not like, I'm trying to think, I was going to say sleeping in. I actually like sleeping in. I just don't like doing it all the time. It's not my favorite thing. I want to get up and get going during my day. But maybe I do not like, here's one. I don't like tying my shoes, okay? It's a funny thing. I like anything I can slip my foot into. So sandals I love. Flip-flops I love. I once went on a trip with a friend, and it was to a place I had never been before. And I said, well, what kind of shoes should I bring? She was like, definitely not flip-flops. I was like, really? Well, turns out flip-flops were fine in this part of the world, this country we went to. She just didn't like flip-flops. Okay, so this is why I want you to be really aware of keen sense of self, because everybody out there, they're going to try to infiltrate and tell you something, and you have to kind of question it and be like, wait, is that for them or is that for me, right? Are they giving me advice for me or are they giving advice for them, okay? Yeah, guess what, guys? I hate to say this, flip-flops in Hong Kong, just fine, okay? Okay, what you do not like, what you do like. There are things you love to do. Maybe you love to sleep in, and you should put that on. Maybe you love to go to bed early. Maybe you love to go to bed late. Maybe you love making your bed. Maybe you hate making your bed, okay? Kind of come up with this list. Now, why do I make you create this list? And if, by the way, if you want to pause this right here, you want to write your list, it's because everyone's lists are really different. And once you kind of start figuring that out, you kind of start realizing like how really unique you are as an individual. Your likes and dislikes should be very different than the rest of humanities, okay? Yours can be just a little different. There are people who are going to be similar, but there can still be things that like irk you that somebody else, like it doesn't irk them, okay? Right? So the next thing I'm going to tell you is that I usually ask my question to myself, especially at the beginning of the day, is, and I would love for you to write this down, okay? And it is, I started with what, but is this something future Carina would approve of? Now, this makes a lot of assumptions about future Carina, okay? So for you, future, your name, okay? I'm always thinking about future Carina. Future Carina is cool, right? Sometimes we don't think about like where we are right now and future us, okay? But this is my way of melding the two. I think futuristic thinking is hard for a lot of people. If you're someone who naturally thinks about the future or you're like a big time planner, this is not going to be very hard for you. But if you're someone who spends a lot of time right here in the present or maybe even in the past, this is a very hard exercise, okay? And it's something I incorporate in my daily life. So what I'd love for you to do, because we're action takers today and we're going to be doing this today, is you on your piece of paper, I want you to write, is this something future, write your name, would approve of, okay, or do, okay? And I want you to think about the last day of your life. And I want you to write down all the activities, okay? So we're going to write a list, right? So I'm going to write activities, okay? And then we're going to put future me. Okay? There's our list, okay? So I'm gonna come over here so that you guys can see this. So these are my activities of the day. So maybe I woke up on time, okay? Maybe I designed 5 wallpapers. These are some of my real life activities, you guys. Maybe I hope I didn't do this, but we'll write this. I yelled at my kids. You gotta include like all the family stuff, okay? Maybe I don't know. We'll use those 3 as an example, okay? Future me goes, I woke up on time. Is that like something that future Carina would approve of? The answer is yes. That is someone I want to be. I am someone who wakes up on time. That's who future Carina wants to be, okay? How about design 5 wallpapers? Yeah, that's a big yes. Future Carina designs every day. Future Carina loves designing every day. Like that's a creative part of my soul. So like this answer might be different for you. Like maybe you didn't want to do whatever it is that you put on your list, okay? How about yelled at my kids? Okay, future me needs to work on this, okay? So that is not me. I am not someone who yells at my kids. I'm someone who really loves my kids, okay? That's future me, okay? So what you're basically doing is you're kind of looking at your activities and deciding if you're living your best future you life right now. This is my way of bridging the past, present, and future. And by the way, there's a great book. I'm going to highly recommend it. Dr. Benjamin Hardy, 10x is easier than 2x, where he talks about past, present, and future. It's very academic. It has lots of great stories in it, though, so I really recommend it. But this is how I do it in real time. Sometimes it's hard for me to yes, I was an academic, but like sometimes it's hard for me. I like real action steps, which is why I'm asking you to do this with me. So write down all your activities for the day and say, like, would future me like those activities? If there are activities on your list that you're like, future me does not like, those are not the things that Carina would approve, then we make adjustments so the next day we start living our life so that it's more in alignment with what the future of you feels like their life should be like. I think very often, I know me, I like A to B and I like it to be a nice straight line. I like to get there really fast. But very often it's a winding road, right? Like we didn't choose this road. Somehow we got on this road and it's a little more winding than we thought it was going to be. And so we really should start, if we start evaluating the activities that we have, it's literally like every fork in the road that we take. And if we don't make any changes to our daily lives, then it stays the same, right? And then we're confused 5 years down the road when your life is still the same. You're like, why is my life still the same? I'm still not that future me that I always wanted to be. I'm not making the money I wanted to be. I'm not doing the creative work that I know I'm meant to do. And all this time has passed, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And it's because you've never even bothered to do an evaluation of your daily life. Because guess what? It's at the daily level, that micro level, that allows us to change ourselves slowly and surely so we hit future you, so that the future you is what happens on a daily basis. When I wake up in the morning, I really love my life. And there aren't still things that are on my list that I'm still trying to change. I'm still trying to change because future me knows I can be better. Future me wants to be better. But the only way to change our lives as creatives, as designers, as artists, as crafters, the only way to change it is to look at the micro activities we do every day and make very pointed decisions in our head, shifts in our head, so that then our actions change. And you will be surprised. Some of you are living pretty good lives right now. You're like, I like my life right now for the most part. I just wish I could add this one thing into it. So figure out how to turn it into something that's part of your daily activities and watch it change your life. One little thing. Watch it change your life. Guys, I hope you did this activity with me. I hope you wrote down things you didn't like, wrote down things you liked, asked yourself the question, is this something future would do? And then start writing down your activities. It's such a simple exercise, but I think it can be life-changing should you choose to really be insightful, get a real keen sense of who you are now, who you want to be, and start making steps towards it. You guys are amazing. Keep up the amazing creative work that you're doing. I'll see you soon.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.